Hello there, ladies. Claire Luffman here, business mentor, and let's dive on into a three-part video series called Getting the Right Things Done, because so many of you are working so darn hard, way too hard, and just not seeing the results. So I'm definitely not going to tell you to work more, to work hard, nothing like that. So first, today, let's go ahead and dive into what's creating your overwhelm and how to overcome it. Here is overwhelmed Olivia. You see her in the middle with all those stickies, and maybe you can relate and feel like her from time to time. So many women feel like this. This is probably the #1 word that I hear business women using to describe how they're feeling. It's just this total state of overwhelm. And what feeds into overwhelm, there's three main things that's making this overwhelmed Olivia, let's call her, feeling like this. She's ready to pull out her hair, and she's like, oh my gosh, can I do this? Am I ever going to figure it out? Right? I'm working and I'm working hard, but I'm not making the progress that I want to make. The first thing is most likely overwhelmed Olivia has no clear direction. She doesn't exactly know where she's going or how the heck to get there. She's got a vague idea of where she wants to go. She knows she just wants to make more money. She wants a legit business. She wants more clients. But what does that really mean? The second thing is most likely overwhelmed Olivia isn't really sure where to be spending her time. Right? There's lots of things that are vying for her attention. Should she be blogging or go on social media and do her posts or go to live networking events? And what about time with her clients? And what about, managing all these emails that are coming in? And her office is a mess. And gosh, where should she be spending her time? And last but not least, overwhelmed Olivia is blessed because she's running in a business this day and age where we have so many ways to grow our business, right? So many cool, creative ideas to grow your business, so many marketing strategies, and there's tons of information, right? There's information overload. You can find the answers to almost any question online, which also then is creating this overwhelm because you see so-and-so's doing this great idea and you want to give it a try, and then you see a really cool video idea on YouTube that you want to give a try, right? So overwhelmed Olivia most likely is having these creative ideas, but she's letting them get her sidetracked because she doesn't actually have a place to store all these creative ideas, so it's truly tripping her up. So let's dive in and let's talk about the first one again, no clear direction. So where am I going and how do I get there? And at a very, very high level, what I recommend folks do is at the very beginning of the year that you create your year's success vision. And this is essentially picture at the beginning of the year. Each year you start at the beginning of a bridge, and it's a new bridge. So for 2014, you were given a new bridge, almost a do-over, if you will, in January. Or whenever you're watching this video right now, you're already halfway through the year, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. You can always start now. And you just get really clear on, you still picture that you're beginning part of the bridge, but the end of the bridge is the end of the year, and get really clear on where do you want to be at the end of the year. Like, what's that destination? What are the results you want to achieve this year? And I get really clear in my business and in my life. Essentially, I'm figuring out, that I can't do it all, but I can figure out what's most important to me this year in 2014, and I sort of visualize a plate, right? I can't put everything on my plate or else I'm going to feel like I'm spread so thin that I'm not doing anything incredibly well. So instead, each year, let me figure out what I'm going to purposefully put on my plate in my business and in my life. So I get really, really clear. I almost see a future vision of myself, right? This future Claire, the end of December, and I am just glowing. I have had a successful year. And when I say successful year, I almost hate to use that term sometimes, but I'm talking about for me to really feel like if I was talking at the end of December 2014, if I'm saying in hindsight, you know what, I had the best year ever. I have had a blessed, productive, joyful year. What does that look like? Then what I do, so again, that's a picture of the end of the bridge. Then what I do is every 3 months I get really good and really clear at figuring out, okay, now what? I'm going to take some steps across this bridge over the next 3 months. And which seems like the right activity to get me there? Because there's tons that you can do, ladies, right? There's so much that you can do in your business, but you don't need to do it all. And it doesn't always make sense to do some things before others, right? So just because you're hearing people say, well, you really need to have a website, and you really need to be blogging, and you really need to be doing this, and you really need to be doing that, you don't necessarily need to be doing all that. It's most important for us to figure out, what does our business most need? What are those right steps for me to take across the bridge in the next 3 months to help me get where I want to go. So that's huge. Where am I going and how do I get there? The second thing, again, is figuring out where to spend my time. So when I create my 3-month success plan, just picture that I have about 4 to 6 projects or deliverables, right? Really concrete commitments that I'm making, things that I'm going to do, not results that I'm going to get, activity that I'm going to actually take, things I'm going to do to get me the results I want at the end of the year. So I've got these 4 to 6 commitments, let's say, projects, deliverables, whatever you want to call them. It's part of my 3-month success plan. And that's what I want to focus on. I've got a plan, now I want to work the plan. Now, where am I spending my time? Those 3 months, I really want to keep my eye on the prize, right? I really want to keep coming back and bring my attention back to this 3-month success plan. So how I'm using my time, I want to use it wisely, my time and my energy. And part of it comes down to creating an ideal work schedule. Do you have an ideal work schedule? In an ideal week, do you know which days and which times you're going to be working your business? That's huge. That's huge. Overwhelmed Olivia a lot of times feels overwhelmed because she's not really planful. You know, she's just trying to work a flexible business here and there, but that's going to create overwhelm. It truly is. If you're feeling like you're just fitting it into the nooks and crannies of your life, you might always feel behind. You might always feel like you're catching up, you know, always behind the 8 ball. So I'm not saying we need to work 40 hours a week. Actually, I don't want to work 40 hours a week, right? Ideally, I want to work 20, 25, 30 hours a week. Some of you, it might be 15 or 20 or 50. Whatever number of hours, that's actually less important than just figuring out, okay, how many hours do I have and which days and times am I going to commit to working my business? And then when you're working, I'm all about creating success routines, right, where you're running your business at times almost on auto drive, right? A success routine, for example, could be maybe how you start the day. What are the things that you're going to do to start that day so you get it off to the best start? Or how are you going to wrap up the day? Like maybe you just know you wrap up the day, you've got a 10-minute sort of routine that you're going to get everything off of your desk, you know, pick up all the miscellaneous papers, at least put it into a physical inbox that you're then going to go through in the next morning and actually go through each thing and attend to each piece of paper. So maybe that's a success routine that you know you're going to start and end the day with a clean desk. Another huge thing about where you're spending your time is I tell my clients that money does grow on the trees. It truly does. If you were told money doesn't grow on trees, I disagree when it comes to your business. And I encourage each of my clients to actually create a picture of their money tree. And there'll be 3 main branches on this money tree and 9 leaves on this money tree. And for every business and business model, the money tree is going to be different. The activities that you're going to be focusing on, like your money earning activities. And then I'm going to suggest that 80% of their time be spent on watering those money trees, on those 9 main activities. So if they're working their business 20 hours a week, I want to see about 16% of those hours, 16 hours spent on watering their money tree and 4 hours on the non-money earning activities. Still the important stuff, right? Like planning out your business and learning, like your own personal development and managing your emails and making sure your office is clean. Those things are important, but we want to get really good at our time, so we're only spending about 20% of our time doing that. To go into the ideal work schedule even deeper is what I call creating themes for your days and calendar blocking. So I have themes to my days, right? I know Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays, those are days that are devoted to my clients. I'm like on back-to-back mentoring calls. Monday's more of an admin day for me. I always kick off Monday morning from 9 to 11. It's always my planning time. So I'm getting caught up and current and really planful. And so that's my Monday morning planning is also going to be when I'll be creating my new 3-month success plans. And the afternoon I'm creating content. So maybe that day, that Monday, I'm creating content for my e-zines, or maybe I'm recording my videos or doing my social media posts. So I always know what a Monday is going to entail. A Friday is more of my optional day. Friday morning is going to always be my admin day, like any little administrative things that are unimportant. I can just quickly go through my administrative to-do list Friday morning. It's also my financial day. So I'm going to get really clear on my financial numbers. So Friday is also my out and about day. I attend a couple of networking events that are on Fridays, so I know I'm already dressed and out and about. So that would be the day. If I ever needed to meet with someone physically, like in person, maybe I'm having a one-on-one. So I'm always going to suggest a Friday. I just really, when you create these themes for your days, not only do you create such momentum in the moment, right? You're not going from activity to activity to activity. It's requiring such different sides of your brain. But again, it goes into the success routines. It's like you just know. You get into a flow for the day. You get so much more done in less time. And you can utilize batching, which is pretty much calendar blocking, but utilize it to the fullest. So again, if you're going to be out and about, batch all of your out and about activities, all your errands for the same day. Or I was talking about my content creation on Monday afternoons. So each Monday afternoon, though, I'm focusing on a different thing. One time, it might be that I'm recording my weekly videos, my 3 tips in 3 minutes. So I can record 4 in one afternoon, right? Get a whole month's worth done in those 2 hours instead of just doing them when I need to publish them, right? So batching is huge. You can utilize this even to the fullest. I actually want to continue utilizing batching more and more and more, where ultimately I would even love every 90 days to take a week-long learning sabbatical, right? I mean, it would be a staycation most likely, or maybe I can go somewhere, but it's a whole week. I've got nothing else. I've got everything on my calendar blocked out, and it's all about me learning, right? So that 90 days, I'll figure out what is it that I'm learning this 90 days. Maybe it's LinkedIn, maybe it's this or that, and during that week, I'm only focusing on that, on truly undivided attention and implementation. So let me not just learn and watch a training video here and there. Let me actually get this stuff up and running. So the last thing is we've got these creative ideas, right? That's one of the blessings of being an entrepreneur. You are this creative spirit. And we want to harness that, though. We don't want to, we want to harness that, utilize that to the fullest. But we also don't want it to get us sidetracked, which is what happens way too often, right? We hear this other idea and we're like, oh, I want to do that. So we put down our current project and we move on to the next thing. And then move on to the next thing, and we move on to the next thing. But are those really the right ideas? Or is that the right activity? Is it truly going to help you get where you want to be? Is it truly going to help you get to the end of the bridge? What I recommend is we want to keep those creative ideas coming, right? We truly want to. That's what's going to make you a strong entrepreneur, is having these creative ideas. But we want to be able to capture those ideas, get them off of our minds, and then have them handy when you're ready for your next 90 days, when you're ready to create your new success plan. Then take a look at all those creative ideas that came in and evaluate which of those still make sense and which of those ideas do you want to bring to fruition in the next 90 days. Because ladies, that's huge. You can imagine. You already have your 3-month success plan. You have a plan and work the plan. Again, then when you're sitting down to create your next 3-month success plan, you already have all these ideas in the queue, if you will, and it makes the process go so much smoother. So there you go. Instead of being overwhelmed, Olivia, how about you be peaceful, productive Paula, where you know where you're going and you have a 3-month success plan. You have a plan, you work the plan. And where you're clear on your priorities, right? So you've got your plan, you keep your eye on the prize. And you're moving your agenda forward, your own agenda forward. So we want to make sure that you're getting really good with your time, all right, with creating an ideal schedule and calendar blocking. And you keep coming back to your success plan every single week and say, now what? Now what? What can I do this week? What are the very next actions I can take to move the success plan forward? And last but not least, we want to say no to the shiny object syndrome. Don't be mad at ourselves that we're getting all these creative ideas. Pat yourself on the back, but just don't let it get you sidetracked. Have a place somewhere where you're recording all these ideas, and then when it's time for you to create a new 3-month success plan, you've got it all handy. All right, ladies, stay tuned to tomorrow, where we're going to continue in this video series, and we're going to talk about where you're most likely wasting time and how to get more done in less time. All right, ladies, I will talk with you soon. Bye.